Well, howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today it's a little chilly, so I'm wearing my jacket in the lab. Actually got the temperature up to 71. We had a cold front come through in Texas, and cold means anytime it gets below about 55 degrees. So you people living in the northern climates or over in Europe and far north, you're freezing your butts off too, and it's like 20, 30 below there. So I guess I shouldn't complain. Anyway, today we're going to do another video about on XCP-NG, and I've had a lot of requests for this, so I wanted to do one before I rearrange my stack again and show everybody how this is done. So in my previous XCP video, I taught y'all how to pass through a video controller, and it's relatively trivial to do that, but I'm not going to keep it because I don't have a use case, but I know some people wanted to see it being done. Now today's video is about passing through a HBA, or a hard drive controller. So in that Dell R710 I have a separate serial ATA controller for onboard things like CD-ROMs and a bootable hard drive, and I have an SSD connected to that. And then I have an H710, a H710 controller that's been flashed into IT mode. I've had that for over a year. And I want to be able to pass that through to a virtual machine on XCP. Now under VMware, it's trivial. You just basically go and select your device and tell it to pass through, no problem, no muss, no fuss. And if you noticed on passing through the video controller, it was the same thing, no fuss, no muss. You just click on a mouse button and pass through the controller to the virtual machine. Other PCI devices, not quite so simple. So what I've done is try to put together a really quick or fairly quick video here on how to do it, and then I'll post in the notes down below. I'll post a link to the article I used to get that to happen. Now, in my choice, in my situation, I passed through an HBA to Windows Server, and then I ran Drive Bender, and you'll see the drives connect up at the end of toward the end of the video. But it could be that you're running FreeNAS, or that you're running some other program under a virtual machine that needs to have direct access to hardware. FreeNAS likes to be able to talk to the disk directly. So this is one way you could run FreeNAS on a virtual machine, pass through your HBA adapter, and still be able to use ZFS under FreeNAS. Not something I would strongly recommend. In fact, I would recommend against it. I've had some success getting it to work, and everything seemed to be fine, but the new GUI that they have on FreeNAS for some reason doesn't like to be under a virtual machine. I don't know whether it was an issue of not giving it enough memory or what, but that was my experience with FreeNAS on a virtual machine, and you should run, in theory, FreeNAS on physical hardware anyway. Well, I've babbled on long enough. Let's get on to the video and show you how I pass through an HBA to XCP to Windows Server, and then how we get Drive Bender up and running. Now, right now we're on the Dell 1. It's a Dell R710, the one that I did the processor downgrade in and the memory upgrade in. So let's go over here and look, and you'll see this one has a ton of memory. It has 96 gig, and this one has the power saving L5640 CPUs at 2.27 gigahertz. Now this unit also contains 6 3.5-inch serial ATA SAS hot swap bays in it. So I want to use this one as a storage server under Windows, and I'm going to use Drive Bender under Windows Server 2019, but I want Windows Server to be in control of the drive controller. I have installed XCP onto an SSD drive in here, and it's on a separate controller. So I do have the ability to isolate that controller and free it up and give it to a Windows virtual machine, which is what we're going to do today. But I don't like doing it here at the XCP-NG Center, so we're actually going to do a terminal session with a program called MobaTerm, or MobaXterm, sorry about that. And I already have a connection here at 5.5, so I'm going to go ahead and hit R to restart the session. I'm going to log in as root with my password that I set up when I installed XCP. And there you go, we're now at the root. So what I need to do is find out what PCI Express address is being used for the LSI SAS controller. And this is a Passthru HBA. It's been flashed. I think it was an H700 that I had flashed into just a regular IT mode. So the command we're going to use is ls PCI, and then we're going to put a special character in there, and they're going to grep LSI, I believe. So what the grep does is we told it specifically weed out all the other controllers on there and only return the ones that have LSI in their title. So as you can see here at address 5:00.0 is my LSI Logic, Symbios Logic SAS 2008 PCI Express Fusion MPT SAS-2 Falcon controller. And that is the controller that we want to isolate from the operating system. So what's going to be required is we put another command in here to tell XCP to isolate it, not to use it. And then we'll need to reboot XCP. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start typing in the command we're going to need to hide this PCI device from DOM0, which is the operating system. So the first thing we're going to do is /OPT/ZenSource/LIBEXEC/Zen -cmd line set DOM0 Zen PCI back dot hide equal. It's a long command, folks, so and we're going to do 05:00.0. Now make damn sure you pick the correct controller, or you could in theory lock yourself out of the system. So let's just verify our command is correct up there. libexec zen command line set dom. Okay, so that should have done it now. So now we need to reboot the Xenserver and then see if we can pass that through to a controller. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down and restart this controller here. So we'll go up here to reboot, and we'll reboot Dell 1. So now that we've rebooted the server, as you can see over here, we need to make sure that that device that we isolated from DOM1 is available to use in a virtual machine. So the command to do that is right here, xl space PCI assignable -list. You hit enter, and you'll now see that device 5:00.1 is now available for us to pass through to a VM. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is create the virtual machine, because we're going to need to know the UUID of the virtual machine. So let's go over and get our Windows Server 2019 machine created and booted so we can get a UUID. So I'm over here on Dell R710 or Dell 1 XCP. Now, I know how to do this in Zen Orchestra, but I'm more familiar with XCP-NG Center. So that's what I'm going to use for this demo today. Just show you how to do it here. I already have a Windows Server 2019 sysprepped, but I don't want to modify this image. I want to make a copy of it. So I'm just going to right click and I'm going to choose copy VM. Now I have a pool set up, which is the XCP test. So I'm just going to make a copy in the same pool. Click on next. it's going to automatically select a name calling it copy of server 2019. We'll change this later. Now, I'm not familiar with fast clone, so what I'm going to do is a full copy, and I'm going to keep it on the NFS virtual disk storage, and you can see we have about a terabyte of 1.1 terabyte free. So I'm going to click on finish. Now, what's going to happen is you're not going to see anything other than this icon is going to go yellow as it copies that virtual machine or makes a copy or a clone of it. But if you come down here under notifications and go to events, you can see here on the events that it is copying the virtual machine, and it even gives you a status indicator. So we'll wait till the virtual machine is copied, then we'll rename it, and then we'll boot into it and get it set up and see if we can pass through that SAS controller to it, or the HBA I should say. So it appears the copy is finished, so let's come back to our infrastructure view, and you'll see right here copy of server 2019 sysprep. So I'm just going to right click on that, go to properties, and I'm going to call it we'll just call it server 2019 SAS, so that we know it's got the pass-through controller. And then down here, server 2019 with SAS controller passed through. All right, and you can see my Amazon shipment is on its way. Now the other thing I like to do too is rename the storage here. So I'm going to come over here to the storage tab and go to properties, just so I can keep it all separate. So we'll just call this server 2019-SAS, just so I can keep it straight in my head. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and boot this virtual machine up. So we'll click here on the console, and it's going to go through its initial setup. And then once I'm done with that, then I'll come back and we'll get the UUID, and we will give it that SAS controller. So let me get those steps done, get Windows booted, get it set up. You know, you need to enter your username and password for the administrator, etc. So I don't need you to see all that. We'll come back when that's done. All right, so we have the machine set up. I have it turned off right now. And this is what we're looking for right here. It's called the UUID. So I'm going to attempt to copy that. And I'm going to put it into Notepad here. See if we can paste it. There it is. There's the UUID. So now the next thing we'll need to do is come down and log into MobiTerm. And we're going to need to enter some commands in here to isolate that controller. All right. Now in the section here, in these brackets, you need to put the virtual machine ID. So come back and we'll copy this. And we'll paste that in there. Oh, let's see here. Syntax error near unexpected token new line. Okay. Okay. I see what the problem is here. It needs to be 05. .0.0. Let's see, XCVM list XCVM param dash set space other dash config colon PCI equal 0 / 0000 colon 05 colon 00.0 and then UUID equal, and then we'll copy our UUID here, paste that in, hit enter, and that should work. Now we need to start our virtual machine and see if that works. So we'll come back here to XCP-NG, go to the console, start the virtual machine, and see if we have a drive controller available to us once it boots up. This is why I hate the command line. If you're not at all familiar with syntax, the proper syntax, you know, the more you use it, the more you'll get used to it. But this is one of the reasons I hate the command line, because you can make mistakes. Transpose a number. I didn't realize that I need to leave the brackets out, but you know, you learn something new every day, huh? Let's go ahead and log into the virtual machine. Sometimes the VM will do that too. It'll give you alright. I'm going to close Server Manager. Actually, I could just come in here to Device Manager. And let's see if we have our... Yes, we do. So there we go. There's our Dell 6 gig SAS HBA controller. And it is identifying it as an LSI. It's loaded a driver. And it appears to be working. So let's go see if it's actually seeing the hard drives connected to it now. And there they are. There's Drive Bender 1, Drive Bender 2. I've already used these drives in a Drive Bender array. So they're all still there. There's 4 1 terabytes and 1 2 terabyte drive that we can assign to the array. They're already formatted in REFS, and I already have some data on there. So the next thing to do would be to get the Drive Bender software set up. So let's do that next. So we have Drive Bender installed. So let's open it up. And let's see if it sees our hard drives out there that are from another Drive Bender array. It does. So it says the Drive Bender service has detected 1 or more pools that can be restored. Do you wish to perform? Click on yes. There were 5 drives found and restored. Bing, bang, boom. We got all 5 of our drives back. Now, it'll take some time for it to update the little charts and whatnot, and we're probably going to get a message that flashes up here that drive P has gone offline. That's typical when you first get drive pool up and running. It'll take it offline for a minute and bring it back on. So here's our test pool, and here's all of our applications that were copied to this. And here's Unky Joe's Playhouse backups. So we have been successful. And you can see it right here. We're running on XCP-NG. We have the drive controller Passthru. It sees all 5 of those hard drives in there. That's good. Means we made some progress. And in theory, we should be able to do this with something like FreeNAS as well. So if I want to load FreeNAS on here and pass through the SAS controller to FreeNAS, it should work directly. But we'll save that video for another day. But for now, we have success. So there you go. Done, done, and done. And as you can see, it just worked. That's one of the reasons I like Drive Bender. Now, let me make this little qualification about Drive Bender. Drive Bender, ZFS, RAID ZFS, RAID level 1, 2, and 3, RAID 5, RAID 6 are not backups of your data. Don't trust your data to these RAID arrays. Make sure you do the 3-2-1 rule. Back up your data, back up your data, back up your data, and keep a copy off-site at all times in case some catastrophe happens, because RAID will not protect you from that. I prefer Drive Bender. You know why? None of these files that I'm saving are really that critical. I do have them backed up to another NAS, in fact to another 2 NASs, and I have a copy of the data offsite, so for that I'm good. So don't ever think that any of these utilities that I show you or these drive arrays that I've set up actually protect your data. They don't. They just they help to minimize data loss in the event of a catastrophic failure, but nothing is as good as a good old-fashioned backup. And again, I'll harp on about Drive Bender, but you can see why I like it. I can take drives out of another Drive Bender array, bring them in, put them into a new one, and it's seamless. I don't have to worry about it. And the other thing about Drive Bender, it doesn't put your files in a proprietary format. So I can take that Drive Bender drive out of that machine, put it into any regular Windows machine, and still get to the files out on the hard drive. So keep that in mind. That's another reason I like Drive Bender. Anyway, there you go. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative. As always, this is going to be the final video in this XCP series of videos, because as you know, I'm going back to Windows on these machines. And but we are going to have some more Windows labs coming up. We're going to do a Windows lab from scratch, that kind of thing. I've had a lot of call for people they haven't gone and seen my old videos, and those that have on the Windows Lab series, as you know, they need to be updated. So we're going to start on some of those videos now that I've got my rack back up and running Windows. So come back and see us again. Donate if you're so inclined. We take PayPal, we take Patreon. We are also mirroring all of our content over on Library. I've got a link down in the notes section or the comments section on how to get to our Library site. So go, if you prefer to watch the videos on Library, feel free to go do it over there. Please subscribe. Leave your comments in the comments section over there as well. Please don't forget to come back and see us again. And don't forget, we'll see you on the other side.